We're going to talk about a couple of these blue bloods here that have played their way into the dance. We have North Carolina and Memphis. Memphis may not technically be a blue blood, but they do wear blue. So I'm throwing them in that same conversation. According to our friends over at the Fielding the 68 bracket show, North Carolina is a 9 seed right now. Memphis is a 10 seed. As of last week, both of those teams were on the bubble, and one of them was on the wrong side of the bubble. Steve, you said you don't fully trust those two teams yet. I think I'm kind of there as well, but I'm curious why you don't trust those two teams.
Well, I just think they're starting to figure it out. I mean, for Carolina going to Duke and win that game, and then you saw the locker room scene with Hubert and Brady and Baycott, and I think maybe R.J. Davis is in as well. You can see, man, all right, the belief. They've stuck together, and everybody's tried to criticize them, right? Everybody's trying to knock them off their wall. In there. And so, but I want to see them follow, really go play well at the ACC tournament. That doesn't mean win it, but that means, hey, to the semifinals, maybe to the finals. And then for Memphis, without question, Penny's done a phenomenal job of rallying the troops and putting them in a position out of the tournament to now, I think without question, they're in the NCAA tournament. But they've got a legitimate chance right now because I think they're the hottest team in the American. Now go tournament next week. And I think now you've got a ton of momentum then going into tournament.
Goodman, you trust either of them?
I mean, you can't completely trust either of them, but they both have talent and they both have some confidence that they didn't have. And as I've said, the best medicine for Memphis has been the AAC, and a Houston team that, let's face it, hasn't been whole for the whole league play. But, sometimes that doesn't matter. Like sometimes you just need like any sort of confidence, especially for a young team and a team that had been struggling. And for Carolina, I like the one thing I loved about them. I know they didn't have a lot to lose going into Durham and they could play loose. But the one thing that we criticized them for all year was toughness, both mental and physical toughness. They answered the bell there. I mean, that's a hell of an atmosphere.
Yeah. Hey, while we're on, what was the real moment being there at Duke at that Carolina game?
I mean, the lead up right before the game started is incredible. I mean, just the way that the students, when they're waiting and they have these like line, whatever they're called, judges or whatever they are, and they come up and they all have numbers, groups of 12, and they run up and they huddle up and then they sprint in Cameron. And once it's ready to go, I mean, all these atmospheres right now after last year and not having them, it's just, you get goosebumps. And I got goosebumps when Kay walked out and the 96 players were in the two lines, and he walked through them. I got goosebumps then. It was awesome.
Yeah. So for me, it was, I can't ever fully trust Memphis because Goodman, why? Hit the buzzer, point guard play. They don't have any. They are 352nd naturally in turnover percentage. So I can't ever fully trust them. But I thought Arch last night made a great point. If you line those teams up in the starting lineup, starting five against starting five, you're probably going to end up taking 2 or 3 guys at least from Memphis over whoever they're playing in the first round, maybe who they end up playing in the second round. So, and I will say this too, because I think it's important. Both of those teams, I think the biggest issues they had heading into, or at least earlier in the season, was internally. For Memphis, it was this. I mean, we all saw it was the squabbles over who had power over that team, right? Is that team the freshmen? Is that team the upperclassmen? And now I think we see what it is. It is the upperclassmen and Jalen Duren who plays the way that those upperclassmen play. They have dog in them. They have fight. They defend. They play tough. They're going to beat you up, and then they're going to try to win the game too. And then with North Carolina, that was the hardest that they played all season long. Like we talked about this on Saturday night, Prohm. They got punched in the mouth and they didn't fold. And that was the first time they've been punched in the mouth this season and did not fold. That was a team that folded earlier in the year, and they did not do it this year. And I don't I don't know if something changed in that locker room. I don't know if it was just the moment and the environment kept them going, but that was their ceiling. We saw North Carolina's ceiling for the first time this year.
Yeah, and I think the one thing you see, and credit to Hubert Davis, he's got to have strong relationships with those kids for them to wear everything, they hear. And then the Cameron Indoor, after getting the way they got beat at home, like Duke, and you there, the last game of Krzyzewski's career, Cameron. I mean, but it's fitting. It's like a movie. Like if somebody was going there and beat him, it wasn't going to be Miami. It was going to be North Carolina. I mean, that was a team supposed to beat him if it's going to be,
RJ Davis was great. I mean, I thought he was kind of the difference maker. Caleb Love, we always talk as the difference maker because he's got the ability and the talent, and you see it, and it kind of jumps off the page. But RJ Davis is the guy that kind of makes them go. And, Baycott was great, around the basket. He was terrific. Defensively, they came to play. But again, I thought it was kind of the mental toughness that showed me that maybe they can get this thing going at this point. And, even if they went to a Sweet 16, that would be a hell of a rebound from where they were 2 weeks ago.
I mean, shit, you win one tournament game for North Carolina this year? One tournament game. Same thing with Memphis. You win one making the tournament is a win considering where they were earlier on this year. Winning a game is a huge victory. And if they're in the tournament, I think that they're going to give somebody a shot. Whether if they're a 7, 8, 9, 10 seed, they're going to give one of those top 2 seeds a shot. I don't want to see either of those teams in the tournament if I am a top 2 seed. We got about 2 minutes left here. Goodman, I think we need to put Michigan in this conversation as well. Without Hunter Dickinson, they went into, I don't even know what the building is called at Ohio State.
The shot center.
The shot center. They went in and they won.
Right? Shot center? Is that right?
Something. The house that Greg Oden built. Let's just go with that.
There you go.
It
was a heck of a win. I mean, heck of a win. And, a win that takes, I think, a little bit of pressure off them when they play in Indiana in the Big Ten tournament this week. But, I think what it showed me was that, again, Devontae Jones is capable of kind of taking this team on his shoulders a little bit. And now, if they can just get Caleb Houston on track, I mean, he was 0 for 10. Now, the key is Juwan Howard comes back now. And what is that going to be like for them? Is that at all a distraction? Are people still going to want to talk about it now that Juwan Howard's back? Because I think people have kind of moved on from it, these last few games without Juwan and with Martelli.
He's got to get through one press conference. That's what he's got to do. He's got to get through that first Big Ten tournament press conference, and then he'll be fine. The best thing that could have happened to them is that Wisconsin lost to Nebraska, and they are now the 2 seed, which means that we do not have a potential quarterfinal matchup between Michigan and Wisconsin.